Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video I tackle the wiring system on this car. It's technically done. I couldn't do it on camera. The reason being is I've never wired a car before, and unfortunately I cannot tell the difference between 5 volts, 12 volts and 0.5 volts. So each sensor was a learning journey for me and how to wire it. But fortunately enough for you guys, I went through the trouble. So this is not going to be a DIY video, but it's just going to be something as simple as putting power and giving it ground. And let's see what happens afterwards. If there's smoke, I had a fire extinguisher at hand. But if there's no smoke and we get a signal, then it's a win. So let me take you guys through what I've done. Oh, and by the way, in the past I thought this one tool will do all the wiring. It will do the cutting, the stripping of the wires, the crimping of the terminals, only to find out you need a vast array of tools, more than what my toolbox can actually handle, to do the wiring on the car. We will be using the Sustec as the aftermarket issue on the car. That rat nest of wires was a total complication, but I made sense of it after all. The injector system is what I tackled first. Afterwards I moved on to the coils, and then I wired each individual sensor individually. The dual Vano system was also the choice for the ECU, as this made my life very easy. The E30 doesn't use a complex system in order to get it started. All you need is fuel, spark and a crank signal, and this car technically should start. Everything else on top of that there is either there to protect the ECU, for example water temps, air temps, fuel pressure, yeah, all of those other stuffs are just there to protect it. But if you just want to get the car started, those 3 items will necessarily get you the car started. But in my instance, I have a problem. Not that bad after all. I got the car started. It's a win. I won. Project complete. YouTube done. I am done with the car. No. Learning curve. Let's understand what's wrong. Let's understand where we went wrong. The car starts, so the wiring should be fine. But bonus, we'll install the wheels also in this video. So stay tuned till the end and you most probably get a glimpse of how it will eventually look. See that yellow and red wire? That one? I need you to remember it, because that's the wire that creates the confusion. The reason being is that's the power wire for the injectors and the coils. Now I was expecting to see 12 wires, 6 for the injectors, 1 for each, and 6 for the coils. But no, there was only 2, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is quite simple. And the principle applies both to the coils as well as the injectors. Why? It's because you get one red and yellow wire. That red and yellow wire goes all the way across all the cylinders. But as it goes across the cylinders, it bridges to each of the cylinders. Bridges there, bridges there, bridges there, bridges there, bridges there, and bridges there. So it's one wire, and then you just add a piece of wire to connect it to give it power. Then you got 3 signal wires: black, brown, black, blue, black, green, for example. And then each of it goes to it, and again it bridges. So for example, the blue green or the brown green will bridge with 1 and will bridge with 6, and those 2 will bridge there, and those 2 will bridge on that side there. The same with the coils. The only difference is you'll have a ground that will be earthed to the head. And with that confusion out of the way, you can get your coils and your injectors wired up pretty easily. Then the next wire, which is the wire that relates to the crank pickup. Now the reason for this here is that you need to tell the ECU or your standalone, whatever it may be, what's the position of the piston number 1? Where is it in relation to starting the motor? Now in order to do that, you get 2 types of sensors. You get a magnetic sensor and you get a Hall sensor. Generally BMWs are Hall sensors. So that wire, so if you look at this gray wire just there, this thick wire here, that's, sorry, I don't have a bonnet catch, I've got to use my shoulders. That wire has a shield, like a foil shield on the inside of the wire. Now the purpose of that wire is actually, it uses, I think it's magnetic, or it has some sort of magnetic properties or something, so it needs to be shielded or something like that. But in that wire, there's three wires. There's a power wire, there's a signal wire, there's a ground wire, right? Now, you connect that up to it. So, key to this particular exercise is, one is knowing your firing order. Number two, try and get an OEM harness. Because just as how I explained to you previously how is it wired, BMW themselves wires the M50 motors exactly the same. Even the M20 motors are wired exactly the same. When two cylinders are up, they both pulse with fuel and spark, so that it pushes it down so the next two can come back up. So when you get an original OEM harness, it's wired up exactly the same. Then you just need to tap into those particular harnesses. Now, when it comes to air temp, water temp, and so forth, there's only two wires generally that's needed. If a sensor needs three wires, like a TPS, it would need a 5-volt sensor, which will be like a small, thin red wire. So if we take, so basically this is one plug, this is the other plug. You got a small plug and you got a big plug. So if, for example, if you take the air signal, right, and if it's a 2-pin, meaning the male side and the female side is a 2-pin which needs to go in, you will be looking for a plain yellow wire, which is 0.5 millimeters in diameter, which is yellow in color. And then if you're going to need a black wire, you'll see here's all of your earths over here. So you'll see you have one black here, which is a earth. There's a earth, that's a negative. There's another black. So these are generally small. So what you'll do is you'll just take one earth from here, which is a black, and then you'll take this yellow wire and you'll run it to the sensor. Let's just say you need another earth wire, right? So you've got a black which is sitting on this plug here, and let's assume you wanna connect it with the idle control valve. So you'll take this black and you'll take this idle control valve, which is the blue wire, and you'll run it to the sensor. Then you have some more earths here on the smaller plug. You got another black there, another black there. So you basically can just take those blacks and connect it to that sensor and run it through. Sustec has a beautiful feature. It has three outputs, general purpose outputs. I used one output for intake vanos, the other output for the exhaust vanos, and the last output I used to generate or to run the fan. So I can tell the ECU at 98 degrees or 95 degrees, please put the fan on via a relay. So your general purpose outputs will generally be triggered via a relay. So you'll tap into the red and yellow of the power, and I think you bridge one or two of the wires on the relay itself, and basically your sensor wire goes through to the plug, and your relay then runs to the plug, something to that effect. I can't remember holistically, but yeah, to get a car started you don't really need all of that. So you got three output, your general purpose output 3, which is a white and green. Then you got your output 2, which is a white and blue. And then so GPO 2, I'm looking for a GPO 1, and there's it there, white and black, right? So those are your GPOs, your general purpose outputs. Then you can connect stuff like launch control and so forth. And for example, if you want to connect your launch control wire, then in any case, that particular output is basically on another cord. So you'll have one thick bunch of wires and like a thinner bunch of wires. It sits on there. You can put your map switching and your launch control, etc. from the wiring perspective. So what's left to do? It's pretty late today. I thought I would bleed the brakes and put the wheels on and drop the car, but I'm not going to be able to do that now. So tomorrow, inshallah, we bleed the brakes, which is kind of tricky because my inline hydro handbrake is there, and we put the wheels on, and that's the bonus for this video. So if you recall in the opening clip, you'll know that my idle was extremely high and that water came out from the bottle. Generally when water comes out from the bottle, it's either combustion pushing into the water chamber. I hope that's not the case in this instance, because then it means an entire engine rebuild. But what I did uncover is when you look at the intake manifold, I use the M50 intake manifold, but this is a M54 head. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a couple of these ports, and I didn't block them off. So what I did was I used a 9.5mm drill bit like this here, and an M10 by 1.5 tap, and I got some grub screws here, and basically I'm just gonna tap these holes and close them up. I will put thread lock on these at a later stage, because you can see I only did one. And I'm just gonna plug these holes up just like that. Don't worry, when I drilled it and tapped it, all these holes were closed, so there's nothing on the inside for you detective mechanics. So that would be about how it would sit. Hopefully that resolves the high idle and potentially the water coming out. So I'm going to do that step first, close up the intake manifold, we'll take it from there. But again, we're faced with another setback. This guy is sitting pretty low, right? And on this side here, it's also extremely low. It's gonna chow my whole fender up. The problem is, I put these camber plates in because the wheels were too wide. I did narrow them down for the second time, but with these camber plates out, maybe my camber bolt is also out, because that the other side has a bit more camber on it. Now the issue I face is that this is where the shock sits. It sits a lot lower, because with the original shock mount it goes down a little, so it gives it a little bit more height. And this is kind of the maximum of the how high I can raise it, because I think the minimum is 60, and then you go down from 60, 70 mils drop, 80 mils drop, etc. So, and I do need to run the camber plates because the wheels are a bit too wide. So now I don't know if this is gonna be the ultimate solution. Stanced out, yeah, she looks pretty cool. Let's check the back out. The back will still come down as it settles, but shoo, jeez, she looks good. She looks good. So it's not going to be in this video where I start it up again, because I still got a lot of work to do, and then I don't think I'll get the video out by then. But yeah, take it in. Damn, boy, a bit too stancy for me, but she's gonna look pretty decent at the end.